Hello. Let me see if I can get my camera on. Hi, how are you? Can you hear me? All right, y'all. Hold up, y'all. Can you hear me, Miss Aja? All right, y'all. I don't know if she can hear me, but welcome back to UB Podcast. Thank you all for tuning in with us again. Guess what, y'all? 3 weeks. This is our third week. I can't even believe it. I can't believe that I am back here for the third week in a row. So welcome. Um, I don't know if she can hear me, y'all,
That's not working.
but yeah, I don't think she can hear me. So it looks like we're having some technical difficulties with our guests. So let me see what I can do. All right, yeah, I think we're having some technical difficulties with our guests. But hi, welcome, guests. How are you? I can hear her, but I don't think she could hear me. So until we figure out what's going on and if we can hear her when she get in and she can hear us, hopefully we'll just go on. But real quick, y'all know. So first of all, I am your host tonight. My name is Chantel Evans, aka Queen Unique. I am the founder of Unique Blessings nonprofit organization out here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is our mission to provide awareness and advocacy for victims, survivors, and at-risk youth that have been affected by human trafficking, domestic violence, and or sexual assault. So this is our last week in domestic violence, and well, not in domestic violence, but this is our last week doing the domestic violence segment because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so we thought it was a great idea to come back to bring you awareness and education, real testimonies from real guests. We talk about everything. Sometimes we get crazy and sometimes we're calm. So we'll see what goes on tonight. But real quick in the news, y'all, I want to talk about I said I wasn't going to talk about this, and I had refrained from even posting this on social media. But everywhere you look, we're talking about Mr. Kanye West. That is one of my favorite artists. That is one of my favorite artists. Um, we're talking about him. We're talking about the subject of slavery. Some people saying he was crazy for, well, they've been saying he was crazy for
Hey
doing all
girl,
the he. Okay, let's see.
how are you doing?
Hold up. I think I got you on two things. Wait a minute. You're going to have to log off of one because we're getting some feedback from you.
I know.
Let me see on the edges of that one. Look, I got you everywhere.
I'm trying to.
So it's going to take you off of that one. Okay, is that better? Can you hear me? Okay, I'm not sure. Can you hear me, Aja? I don't know if she can hear me, y'all.
Hey, I
I
can
hope
hear
that
you. How you doing?
you can hear me now.
Yes, it's just that girl. Let me tell you. Whatever this
Okay, good.
today.
Good. Guess what? It ain't that bad. I was just on here about to talk about Kanye West before we introduced you. I had introduced myself
You did.
already, but I wanted to before we get into the podcast tonight and while we here, I wanted to just what you think about Kanye?
Girl. To be honest with you, he's brilliant.
He's
And I
what?
don't think he's brilliant. Like the mindset behind what he's doing and why he's doing it, it's of a genius level. And I just don't think the world is really ready for it. And that's why he's getting so much pushback, and people are saying that man is crazy. He's not really crazy. He's just saying the things a lot of people are afraid to say. And
Yeah, and won't say.
yeah, they're not going to say it because they're bound by a system that's already created to demonize us as a being, you know. And so for me with him, I mean, he's smart. That's all I can say.
And he's actually one of my favorite artists. So I am, and I really don't see what he's doing differently than he wasn't. It's the same Ye
Yeah.
that been out. If you was a fan from the beginning or you follow him from the beginning, he's not saying really anything different than he already said. It's just that his actions is following up and he's being consistent. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what the real issue is. Us not seeing and knowing what consistency is and what it looks like. And even talking about enslavement, like I was saying earlier, our organization, we stand against human trafficking, which is modern day slavery. And so once you understand contract law and contracts and things like that, it binds you to a certain situation, certain subjects. And it's okay to learn and to say what you need to say and understand that if it was for you, it's going to be with you. If it ain't for you, your words did not determine that it wasn't for you anyway. So shout out to Mr. Kanye West. I said it, I mean it. And but jumping right in, we can introduce you, tell us who you are. I'm excited about tonight. So tell
I
us
am
who you
too.
are and a little bit about yourself.
So basically, I'm an insurance broker. I have my own insurance company. I also have a nonprofit organization called Self Control Upstate. And then I'm also a sales and training manager. So I do a lot. So therefore, I call myself an entrepreneur, inspirational. Like I help inspire people all over the world. Not only that, I also inspire them to start working for themselves, going to like entrepreneurship, really, developing self love, and just start executing. That's like my real passion.
Cool. And you didn't tell us your name. And what's the name of your organization?
My name is Asia. My nonprofit organization is called Self Control Upstate, and my insurance company is called Complete American Insurance Professionals.
Okay, thank you, Asia.
You're welcome.
So, our topic tonight, y'all, we say we are talking about forgiveness that equals self love. And by the way, um, it's gonna just be you and I tonight. So we're gonna let the spirit do what it needs to do. And hopefully we will say something that provokes someone to get to where it is that we are or to move forward from where they currently are. Um, Forgiveness. Oh my God. That word, that word alone. Woo! Forgiveness that equals self love. What in the heck is either or? Like, what is self love to you? Um, and what is forgiveness? You can start where you want to start at, but what is forgiveness? How explain that? What does that look like?
So forgiveness to me is when you allow things to take place, and while you allowing it, you don't understand what it is. Like you're really upset about it, you're bitter about it, you really have control over the situation. And actually having forgiveness is being able to overcome those situations. It's being able to overcome like those thoughts. Also, it's like learning how to forgive yourself while also forgiving others. Because a lot of times we're always wanting to point the finger at someone else. And what I'm now challenging people to do is stop pointing the finger at someone else and start taking more of accountability for what you got going on or what you put
Mm.
yourself through. So forgiveness for me is being able to forgive myself first, so that way I can also forgive others. And then once you release forgiveness and you start allowing forgiveness to happen, and you start allowing people to be who they are, and then you just start accepting them on that level, then that means you develop self love. Because
Mm.
you're no longer having to point the finger at someone else, you're now looking at yourself and you're restructuring the God within you. not only that, you're also allowing yourself to take space in big places. And a lot of times it's where God have already furnished you, or either, allowed you to take places. You just got to prepare yourself to get ready. And that's where that self-love.
Mm, self-love and forgiveness. I'ma still keep saying it probably the whole way through because for me, I don't know. I think forgiveness came in stages. I think and I don't know. Maybe it was like the four, and then the give, and then the this, and this, and it wasn't connected. It just wasn't connecting
Mm-hmm.
until I made a choice that I wanted to get to know who this forgiveness was. Like I wanted to get to know who it was, why everybody was talking about it. Um, I didn't think it. I thought you just, you use it for whenever you felt it was necessary. I didn't know that forgiveness can make you live or die. And I know earlier when you and I was talking, we talked about me when I heard, someone told me years ago, a pastor, and I can't believe that I'm having this podcast like out loud and publicly about
Yeah.
this. Yeah, so
It's
like
like the
like
first
forgiveness.
time.
This is the first time I think that I've had this, and to be quite honest and really, really transparent, the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks I have been having like a trying time, like in business, right? A trying time. Hey, quick King Jacob. I've been having a trying time, really having to make some decisions. And I think when we look at making decisions and self-love and what we need to do for ourselves, everybody talking about filling the bag and going get the bag, is a lot of work and it's everyday effort to continue to stay on the healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't realize that forgiveness is connected to healing, right? Um, I was still saying I was forgiving my friends and the families and that stuff that felt good when I was in a broken space.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are in a space where you're bruised and no longer broken, like forgiveness is possible, in my opinion, only when you have begun the healing journey, when you begun that place and you it's not pretty. Man, you talked earlier. I said forgiveness was ugly, it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
um it's putting your ego aside, putting down all your weapons, of war, letting walls down, being vulnerable. It's timeless. I like that when we talked earlier that you kept telling me don't focus on the time.
Most definitely.
Let the spirit do what it's gonna do. And so forgiveness is obedience. It's
Mm-hmm.
being in that space where you don't really want to be. Um, but it's possible. And I think that once we say, hey, I want to love me, I want to do something that feels different, you can begin to reach that point of forgiveness. But how do you do it? Like at what point do it come? Do you wake up one day and you say, you know what? Why did you decide to forgive, and what did you forgive? Let's talk about that. What did you forgive?
Oh
We
Lord.
know we in domestic violence, so I'm just gonna go there now. I asked you before we got here, was it
You
anything that was off
did,
limits?
and
You ain't said nothing was off limits, honey. You said let the spirit go, so the spirit is going. So like,
okay.
Queen, what did you forgive and why?
So basically, to be honest with you, I never really thought about forgiving nobody. I had no intentions on forgiving this specific person. I just knew that the rest of my life, I was not going to like them. I was not going to do with them. I wasn't going to necessarily hate him because I knew Satan was like very strong. But I knew this came for bad. Like I knew that I did not want that to happen within my circumference, if I could allow it on a continuous basis. And so I ended up going to Grace's house, which is like my and she was like, bringing up stuff that I didn't want to talk about. It was my first time meeting her, and I had never spoken to her before. I never dealt with her before. As a matter of fact, it was my grandma's, her husband's daughter, who wanted us both Lincoln. Lived there. And I would say he decided to bring up a very traumatic experience. And it was at a point where, as a child,
Excuse me, Asia. One of the guests said that they getting feedback when you speak.
I don't have no earplugs or anything. I think it's on your end. Do you have my sound?
I had you. You sound kind of okay to me. I can unplug and see if that makes a difference.
Okay.
So, let me. Harry, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I don't. Okay, so let me see if that makes a difference for us. But King Jacob, huh?
I was trying to get on my computer,
Okay, so let's try to just continue. You said you were somewhere, and someone had begun talking to you. You want to start over? See if we can hear you better.
Okay. So basically, myself. Now I can hear the feedback. Hold on one second.
Oh, now you can hear it.
I can hear it. Let me see if I can do my computer.
Probably if you have like two devices plugged up, one's going to give you a feedback. You probably have to separate the other device.
The other one is
Huh?
I'm just on my cell phone.
Okay. I can kind of hear you on this one. So, Neil Berry, peace and love, Neil. Jacob, we are fine this evening. Thank y'all for tuning in. We are trying to go through some technical difficulties, but we're going to get it in regardless. We're going to get it in because y'all know when we start talking about like something positive and that spirit start to get a little agitated, say, hold up. They out here talking about forgiveness. Oh, hell to the no.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still gonna do it. we gonna still do it regardless.
Let's see.
Okay, he says you need to go out and come back in.
Let me try that.
That's what Jacob is saying. Okay. Jacob, we appreciate you tonight for all the technical difficulties. You make sure you just stay on as long as you can and tell us what we're getting back on the other end tonight. And I don't know if you was here when we was talking, but we was talking about Kanye West just a little bit. And I'm gonna challenge the audience and those people out there that just won't let Mr. West breathe. We're talking about forgiveness tonight. So if I don't even know what any of us got to do with it, to be honest. So I can't tell y'all to forgive him. I'm gonna listen to Kanye West music for as long as it's around. So, and I think he's a great artist, and I think he's an amazing businessman, and we could all learn something from him, especially when it comes to that contract law and it comes to that business and being bonded and insurance and sureties and all of that other stuff. Our guest is an insurance agent, and so maybe not on this show, but we'll get some information there or some where y'all can reach out to her and she'll get y'all what you need as it relates to that. So we're gonna see if we could bring her back. And okay, let's see. Jacob, you said you're gonna rock with Mr. West. I'll rock with Kanye West for multiple reasons. I'm with you. Like, I think that's what real freedom look like. Like, this is who you gonna be able to tell, who with you and who not. You have a Kanye moment, honey. Everybody leave you. They'll be like, oh my God, I'm leaving. So, but one amazing thing about him is that he owns himself and he's able to pay the cost to be his boss. And Adidas ain't never gonna look the same again. But anyway, hey Asia, you back? Oh man.
Yes, I'm here. Is this better?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it says better. We just got an Amber Alert on our phone. I don't know if y'all got it. Um, I hope they find the missing child. But I think I can see you better, so I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I think that you sound way better. You don't sound like you like don't have good reception. All right, so back to this forgiveness thing. We ain't swaying. We ain't swaying from that. I came here to learn tonight. I got my pen in my pad.
I know,
So
right?
I asked you, yes, yes, yes. And if you just coming in with us, we are talking about forgiveness that equals self-love. We have a special guest, Miss Aja Turner is on here, and she is telling us about her journey into forgiveness and self-love. She also have a lot of resources and stuff for business people, community, and everything else, y'all. So she just full of goodness and self love. So we gonna get some of that tonight. So Miss Asia, tell us about the forgiveness point. Like, what was your breaking point? Where you find it at? Why did it matter? What happened? What was that like? What did you forgive and why?
Okay. So it came to a point where I went over one of my, it's like feedback still on my side. Does anyone still hear?
Okay, I can kind of hear you. Jacob, can you still hear feedback? And when King Jacob said, "Hi, Miss Aja, salute
Hey,
Queen." So let's just see. I don't know you, and I don't know why you're getting feedback. Let's see if it works. He said, "Yes, a lot of feedback."
yes, I thought so. Do you have like another device that you could plug in outside of your headphone?
Now, I think Jacob, are you getting feedback from me as well, or are you getting feedback from Miss Asia?
It's for
Like,
me.
just curious, huh? Because even when I disconnect my headphones, I think it was still on there. Yes, let me see. All right, let's try to talk. Can you hear?
I can hear you.
Do you still have hear feedback from yourself?
Not as much as it was
He
before.
said he's only getting feedback from you.
It is for me. I, mm, let me see if I had some headphones. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you, King Jake. I'm not sure how long you got to be on, but hey, let's get a question going from down there. So, Jacob, what does forgiveness look like for you? And anybody else who's watching, what does forgiveness look like? What does forgiveness look like to you? Why is it important? Oh my gosh, I can talk about this topic forever. And I think I was talking earlier. I said that I was having a trying week. Well, yeah, I think a trying week where you just start thinking about choices and decisions and things that you have to make for your self care journey. And self love is self care as well. Like caring for yourself, it shows yourself, that you are into this. And I think it's impossible to forgive anybody else or anything else before you forgive yourself. Whew. I reached that point. I don't know. I don't really know when I got into like the forgiveness part, to be quite honest, because I am really hard on myself, which makes me hard on other people in return. And that's not saying that I'm right or wrong for that. So I don't leave myself a lot of room where we have to talk about forgiving. I'm love. Um, I always want to please, but sometimes in that journey too, we ain't doing what we supposed to do. Um, in loving, you have to learn how to set healthy boundaries, right? I am at this place now in my journey where since about last year, I've been like just setting boundaries, not building walls, but setting boundaries and healthy boundaries for myself first and then for other people. That is very, very, very important when you are on the road to accountability, responsibility, respecting yourself and respecting other people as well. Um, on this road of forgiveness, I told Miss Asia when we was talking that um, you're gonna lose a lot of things, and you're gonna lose a lot of yourself as well, because I think we take forgiveness and we want to place it, where it feel good. And I think for forgiveness, it's like, okay, if you make me feel good, then yeah, we good. I forgive you. Um, that's not a feel good and forgiveness is not the same thing. It's not the same. Freedom allows you to move forward. It does. But oh, speaking of freedom, Neil, I pondered on that as well. Freedom, how do you free yourself when you don't know that you're in bondage? How do you free yourself when you don't agree that there is any chains? What about the invisible chains, the mental chains, the emotional chains, the spiritual chains, the things that we are not aware of that even exist? Because I think forgiveness, I know Miss Asia, she said this, and I probably shouldn't be spilling it, but I know she had said earlier that forgiveness was you have to be ready to receive that because it reveal a lot of things. It show you clarity. You go through things. Like I said, even in my past few weeks, it was things that I was going through. Have to make some decisions. You don't always look like the nice guy, and it doesn't always feel good. But in that healing, you have to make sound decisions, and sometimes you have to make them quick. Um, I remember just holding on to stuff and holding things that hurt, and not saying nothing, or I'm not going to speak to you, or I ain't going over there, or the sight of somebody changing my day and just keeping me at a low place where I'm vibrating low. But at the moment that you understand why forgiveness is important, why it is a part of self love, then you're able to do that. Let's see what you said, Jacob. You said forgiveness looks like a peace of mind. Mm. Being happy mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all the be above. Being angry is a bad addiction. Huh, I don't know, King Jacob. Um, I can't tell you and be honest, and I can be honest, I can't say that forgiveness always made me happy. I can say that forgiveness always put me in a state where I'm able to use my thought process and be rational with my thoughts. Um, Forgiving, I think emotionally, I don't know. I would ask the question like when you forgive emotionally, like do forgiveness? Let me ask y'all some of the questions then. Do forgiveness have like a time limit? Um, like what's the time frame? Should like is it do you get do you even can you even get to forgiveness without being mad? Is it wrong to be mad? Like when we say emotions, like I think that humans have emotions and it's healthy for us to operate in our emotions. I think that people should be allowed to have those emotions and share those emotions if they so choose to, or just sit with their emotions. I know for me, a lot of times I'm seen as, cold or don't care, emotionally detached, and that's so far from the truth. My thing is when it comes to like forgiveness and emotional and having that space to heal, that I think it's timeless. I think it depends on what happened. I think it depends on the person. Um, I know for me, it took me a while to forgive some things, right? A long time. So Miss Asia's back. Let's see what you say. Mr. Excuse the typo. Many people don't know how to forgive themselves, so they struggle with trusting people, including family members. Ooh, King Jacob. Yes, I have to agree. I have to agree, and I think that's gonna take us like into the next question. Like, King, how? Hi, Miss Asia, you back?
Hey, is this better?
Ooh, you sound good to me.
I
King
still hear
Jacob.
feedback.
Oh man, I was getting excited. I think you still sound good. King Jacob, can you tell me if you heard any feedback from her? And you said yes, it takes some people longer than others. Yeah, it
It
does.
does.
Like I want to know about that time frame. Like, does it what does it depend on? Yes, you said a little feedback. So he said a little. Is it can you tolerate it? Like, or is it like not tolerable? If I said that word right. He said a little. So I think we gonna
Okay.
go. That's what be happening when y'all be living down there in them sticks and over the woods and across the rainbows and under the mountaintop. He said it's okay. Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
All right. So I didn't put out some questions, but it's 7:32,
I'm
y'all. And if you're
sorry.
tuning in, oh no, you okay. Don't be sorry. As long as you still look, we ain't stop. We ain't stop. So don't be sorry. Be ready. And I think that you are. But I know we're ready to to get right in. King Jacob will get back to me later. Let's respect the guests and let's get back on in here. You remember where you started at, or where you left off at, rather?
So basically you was asking me, right? It's still a lot of feedback. You sure it's not on your end?
No, I can hear fine.
Hmm.
I don't like. I actually don't hear any feedback on my end.
You don't.
Mm-mm.
So I think one of your mic on your computer need to be turned down. Hold on one second. I can show you or tell you which one it is.
I'm on my cell phone device.
Oh, you're using your
I
cell phone
didn't get
device?
on. Yeah, I didn't get on my laptop.
Are you connected to Wi-Fi from your cell phone device or are you using your
It automatically connects. I think sometime when I'm
it
home.
does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You want me to
I know.
disconnect?
I think you might need to because I use my cell phone at first, and now I'm actually directly on my laptop. And I have
But
this.
he said he can hear me clear. Am I? You getting feedback from me?
No, it's so it's coming back from like myself hearing you from your device. It's something in your device that's still like repeating it back to me. Something is turned
Chantal
up.
Evans. Jacob said, Chantal Evans, you sound great. So I don't think it's my device.
It's not.
Mm-mm. He said
Well,
that I sound great to him.
well, I am signed in through my Google account and maybe my Facebook.
You sound fine to us, I think. He said it's definitely Asia device. You sound clearer now than you was before.
So is it
Um,
still a feedback?
I don't hear your feedback. Jacob said that he heard you a little bit, but I don't hear your feedback.
Okay, well I hear my feedback.
Earlier, it was choppy before you put your earphones on,
Yeah.
but now it's actually clearer. He
Okay.
said, yes, it is. What is so? Are you getting feedback from Asia device, or I don't know? I don't know if I should like log out, but everything sounds fine on my end to me. I can try, but I don't know. Asia, try cutting your videos off. Someone said try cutting your video off and see what happens.
Okay.
Neil, thank you, Neil.
Is that better? Mm-mm.
Um, You still hear feedback when you're in Asia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually hear you. Tell her to restart her phone and come
I'm not
back.
on my phone. So at first I did on my phone and I came back. And then now I'm actually on my laptop and it's still
Let
feedback.
me let me see if I go out and come back. Is does that make a difference? Let
Okay,
me just
thank you.
try that. You're welcome.
Hello? So now there is no feedback for me. I'm not sure if we're still in the show or not, but I don't hear no feedback with her device being gone.
Okay.
Hello?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Asia?
I can. And as a
Is
matter of
that any
fact,
better?
yes, so much better. There's no feedback.
Oh, thank God. All right. Well, thanks to all of the tech people, Asia, including you.
Y-
I'm not tech,
Hey,
as y'all can see. Um,
it's okay.
I don't even want to be though. I don't even want to be. That's the thing. So like, I love tech people, but I don't want to be tech. That's what
It's
y'all for.
okay. Yep, it's okay.
All right, I'm happy we back. All right, so let's go right in. Let's get in there.
Okay.
This gotta be good too, y'all, because all of this going on. Y'all already
37
know it's
minutes
gonna
of
be
it,
good.
right? Okay. So, hello everybody. I hope all of y'all had really had like an amazing day. I'm going to start back over because I feel as though like the feedback was horrible and I kept hearing myself. So I was like not necessarily my authentic self. My mind is like, what's going on here? Like the devil is always busy. When I tell you, we had like a whole conversation, you guys, like a whole hour worth prior to us even getting on the show. And the conversation was so profound. I said, "Don't care about the time. Like, just let the time flow." She's like, "Well, it's gonna be an hour. If it's not gonna be an hour, fine. Let the time be what the
Wow.
time is." And so basically, God had already gave me that whole premonition prior to the show. Because whenever you got a lot to offer, or whenever you have a lot to say, or when you're really gonna reach out to people the way how you need to reach out to them, the devil don't necessarily want everybody to hear what we have to say today. Because what we're going to say today is really going to help change your life. Not as actually going to change your life, it's going to change your whole perception of the way how you see your life. And that's what it's more so about. It's not even about me. Yes, I'm the guest, I'm the host as of today, right? But however, it's more
Yes.
so about you all and what you're going to do to help gain a different access to your own levels within your life. Because as those levels increase, you continue to get different devils. And as you continue to get different devils, you're going to continue to see that God is putting you on the right path. All you have to do is appreciate your journey and know that that journey is for you and only you. And those who are going to stand beside you is going to be with you. And those who are against you, you're going to be able to see it just as quick as it came. So don't worry about the technical issues. It was God because it had to show her that basically it's not about the time. It's about how he decided to work within the midst of that
Mm.
time. And now I'm so happy I don't hear myself. And I'm so happy that all of you have already joined. And if you just stay tuned, allow time to take its place and stay in this space, I promise you by the time we end tonight, you will not be the same. And I don't want you to be the same. I want you to be better the next minute, the next hour, the next day, the next year, and so on and so forth. Because it's all about the build. And you got to keep pushing yourself to gain access to that build. And just because you want those to come with you, don't mean they're supposed to come with you. A lot of times people come into your life because they're absolute distractions. So don't get caught up in the
Mm.
distractions. Don't get caught up into the people. Don't get caught up into the place of the thing. Get caught up into the moment that you're going to be presented before. That moment is your time. And that time is
Mm.
going to be for you to shine. I swear to God. Like you're going to shine. So I can't see the comments. I wish I could see it too, because I like to talk back. But if
Let
I
me
can't
see if
see
I
it,
can
it's
put
cool
anything
beans.
out.
But I just want to let y'all know I'm so excited to be here today. And I want you all to really develop and grow into everything that you know that you are supposed to be.
Wow, 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 wow. So I shared some of the comments on the screen. So we have King Jacob. He's saying, tell us some more. Like you came in here and you just like woke everybody up. So that's what I'm talking about, y'all. We about to have it in here.
Hey,
Angel,
Angela.
we got
Hey. Hey,
we got
Kimbra.
Queen Angel up in the building. Hey, Angel, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Angel is a blessing as well. She's a sister. And then we have King Jacob again. Like while you was going and you was going, he was like, oh my, like, all right, let's go and get this up in here. So like, thank y'all and most of all, thanks to the Most High just for allowing this time and she's pulling stuff out of me. Here, y'all know I be trying to like act gangster and stuff sometimes, but I am excited. I needed this. I think we needed this. And for so I'm only convinced to believe that because you had a conversation with me earlier about an incident that happened yesterday, where your spirit was tested and you said to me, it wasn't the person, it
No.
was the spirit that was
Yes.
on the person. And poof, even with forgiveness, like I associate a lot of these things with like spiritual transformation and spiritual energy. I
Hmm.
did not think about people can't go with us because they was just sent for a distraction.
Yeah.
I ain't never think about nothing like
Yeah,
that.
they're distractions.
I usually
And it's okay.
say that our season ended. I just be going around just trying to make things, and I never looked at it as a distraction. But I know that right now where we are just in this space in the whole world, we all are experiencing transformation. We all are experiencing it, whether you like it, love it, agree with it or not. And it's a lot of things that just cannot go to these heated places that you that you just gave us with. So like, oh gosh, just remember there's lessons in your blessings. It is a lot of lessons, man. I don't even know, like, as y'all can see, I'm trying to find the safe words to say because I don't want to offend. And in this forgiveness space, I think it's a lot of vulnerability there. Like, because forgiveness don't look like you fighting or quitting either. But it is a moment where you have to learn how to just be quiet and hear that voice from within. But oh my gosh, I'm with King Jacob right now. Like I didn't think about people can't go with you. Like I said, I have something going on right now, and I'm like, oh, well, the season must be ending. But no, distractions are real.
Yeah,
Distractions are
and
truly
you have to
real.
remember that God wants you to have access to people. He wants you to build the connections. He wants you to go through those pathways with those people. And just because they're not necessarily in place or in line with what you're doing, and just because they're a distraction does not mean that eventually they're not going to cross your path again. Nobody's seasons never really technically end. That we say
Mm,
seasons end, but do seasons really
mm.
actually end? Because seasons continue
No,
to
they
come
do
around
come
every year.
back. They
Every year,
sure
you're gonna
do.
visit that
Ooh,
season. So why we continue to say seasons are ending when really we need to
ooh.
place the proper word on it, which is actually a current distraction. Those are spirits. Those are things that come at you when you're really operating within the best form of yourself. And it's okay
Whoa.
because they're supposed to come so you can become stronger and tougher. And and not only that, you can't get strong by yourself. You can't get tough by yourself. You really get tough together with a whole lot of people because you got now
Mm,
access to people that you never once had access with to, first of all. Not only that, you're also learning from people that you never once thought that you actually learned that one particular thing from before. And not only that, you also have people that's going to connect you to those people, that's going to help you out with those people, that's going to give you back to
mm,
those people, that's continuing to build within those people. So like all that stuff is a network. And that's what God wants us to do, have access and network to people. And just because we have those access and network to people does not mean they're supposed to take up that space. And if they do, and they're not in line with what you're doing, then that's a distraction that you now have to learn how to overcome. And that's what's going to build you up. So that way it become a whole lot more easier to forgive. Because forgiving is such a word that you're like, oh yeah, just forgive. Don't worry about it. Forgive and forget. In church, you learn to forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. But technically, can you really forget what you really went through? You could
Mm.
dismiss the thought of it. I mean, you could suppress the thought of it. You could try to omit the idea or the place or the time of the thing, but guess what? You still got to deal with it because you got to be able to overcome now those new demons within you of hate. So once you overcome those new demons of hate within yourself and learn how to forgive, then you're going to be able to access so much more. And this glow on my face, I didn't have this glow before I learned how to love myself. I didn't have this glow before I learned how to forgive others. You know, I had pictures of 10 years ago where my face was always breaking out. My face was always breaking out. They say don't eat chocolate, don't eat sugar, don't, stress a lot, don't do. And you know what? I found when I learned how to let go of all those inner demons within myself that somebody else gave me, not because I asked for it, but because they were placed there to put me through it, right? Then once I start releasing that, my face start clearing up out of nowhere. I mean, literally out of nowhere. My mind stopped being so caught up on what's not for me. And I start thanking God for everything that He placed for me. So it's about learning how to forgive. And I remember the question that you asked me, and I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. So we're gonna have a word, okay? We're gonna have a safe word. And that safe word gonna be what that safe word gonna be? Today is the day. Okay. That's
Today
gonna
is
be the
today.
safe that's gonna be the safe phrase. Today is today. Because I can't continue to think about what I went through. I gotta also understand what today is for me. And today is the day. Because the today is the day that the Lord has made for me. And I shall rejoice in all things. Okay. So now let's talk about it. Now we know that the safe phrase is today is the day. We're gonna have a lot of fun, okay? Let's keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go back to your question. So when I learned how to forgive was when I came into a situation and I was able to meet this wonderful lady. I mean, I'm gonna say her name, Dimitri. Yes, I'm gonna say your name, Dimitri. I got to meet Dimitri, and I was in Charlotte, and my step grandpa wanted me to meet Dimitri because Dimitri is actually his child. That's his daughter, and Dimitri is actually a minister. And we're in her house. I mean, like she's cooking. I remember she was cooking like some collard greens or something, and she's like on this whole health kick. And I mean, it was smelling good. I mean, she had macaroni cheese. She was really expecting me. And as a matter of fact, she was actually preparing a meal for me and my children to come over and just hang out with her for our first time ever meeting. And we in the kitchen, we just talking, she in there cooking, me and the kids was getting ready for dinner and everything else like that. And I think we had got to the point where she had should fix our plates. But in the midst of her fixing our plates and feeding me, she decided to have like this very hard conversation with me about something that I went through as a child. As a child, I was actually molested. And so when she brought up this conversation, it really pissed me off. I mean, it pissed me off because I'm like, how dare you bring up this conversation? And this is your first time ever meeting me. How dare you sit right here and tell me how I should handle the situation when you wasn't there when I had to go through it? You weren't there after the math, and you're not there while I'm trying to heal. And so why are you bringing up something that you're not going to help me get through? She said,
Mm.
what's wrong? Like, why can I not have this conversation? I know about it. So let's talk. I'm like, no, but you're who are you to tell me that that I'm supposed to forgive this person? And I wasn't even expecting having this conversation with you. So I started packing up myself and my kids. Matter of fact, I don't even think we even ate a quarter of the plate. I start putting on our coats. I start putting on their shoes, whatever they had going on at that time. I packed my kids up and I was about to go out the door. She said, hold on, don't you go out that door. Don't you walk out that door being as angry as you are right now with them children in the car. What if something happened that's going to come back on me? You cannot walk out that door. Now you're going to sit right here and you're going to listen to what I have to say because you need to learn how to forgive that man. That man got a power over you that you can't get rid of right now. And that's why you're going through what you're going through because you have not forgave him. Now, I need you to come back in here and sit down right now and listen to what I have to say because I'm a minister and this is what God told me to have a conversation with you about.
Mm.
And I'm looking at this woman like, what you want? I mean, like, I'm like, what you want? What do you want me to say? What I want you to do is I want you to understand why I'm telling you to forgive him. And I said, well, why you feel like you have the right? She said, because I've always loved you, even when I didn't know of who
Mm.
you were. I've always cared
Mm.
about what you went through. And if I could have talked to you back then, I would have, but I didn't know you. Or no, I knew of you, but I didn't know you. And I know that you didn't know me. And I've always wanted to have this conversation with you. She said, now at that time, I didn't necessarily want to teach you about forgiving. I wanted you to be able to vent for me. She said, but now that I'm a minister, I have to have a different type of conversation with you. I said,
Mm.
okay, all right. What you want to talk about then? I mean, because I'm stubborn. Like when I get in my modes or when I get in the way or in my mind of what I think of it to be is right, you can't convince me no different.
Right.
And that woman said, well, you see how you got up? You see how mad you got? You see how quickly you packed up your kids? I knew right then you didn't forgive him. You had no intentions on forgiving him. I said, no, I don't. I said, heck, it happened. What can I say at this point? I stood against my family on this. I stood against myself on this. And why do I need to forgive this man when all this man did was hurt me? She said, you got to forgive him because he still got power over you. You know, I see you as a beautiful young lady and I see that your future is bright. And because your future is bright, I have to give you a way or tell you exactly how to navigate that. Because I don't want that man to have that kind of control over you no more. I don't want that thought or that process to consume you into where you're going. And I feel as though like you got 2 beautiful kids. I don't want that to fester on them. Like I don't want that to spill over on them, because
Yeah.
your kids can feel the way how you feel. And they feel
Mm.
the things that you say and that you don't say. So let's talk about it. I said, okay, well, how do you expect me to forgive him? Like he wronged me in every way. Like I loved that man. That I loved him. Like I loved him. I loved that man, I did. And for him to do me like that as a child, it made me hate. And I didn't just hate him, but I hate mostly any man that kind of came across my path. I thought they all were wrong. I thought they all were dogs. I thought none of them really cared for you. And I thought that all of they wanted to do was abuse and use you. I was
And for
raised that way.
how long did you have those thoughts? Because I know it's a lot of women nowadays, especially nowadays, that have that same kind of hatred and they justify it and even are confirmed with, hey,
Mhm.
you're right. You should feel that way. How long did you have to live with that?
Girl, I lived with that until I got into my early 30s. I didn't meet her until I was like 31, 32 years old, maybe 33. I think more so 33, possibly, but I think it's like 32. But either way, God met. I learned how to forgive in my early 30s,
Hmm.
and when I sat there and I listened to her, it all started to make sense. Like it all started to like make me think about the things I put myself through, the things I put my body
Mm.
through, the type of men I decided to attract myself to, the type of men I thought
Mm.
I needed in my life, but I never really could even handle them being a part of my life because really they didn't deserve me. They didn't deserve me.
Right.
And when I got to that point in space and I had to reflect on the things that I did and how I did it and what I did, I didn't like me no more. I realized
Mm.
like I really was like so disgusted with the thought process of me because I spent so many years trying to hide what I went through by adding more fuel
Mm.
to the fire. Instead of going through the midst of forgiveness, I kept igniting the fire over and over again. And I kept pointing my finger at everybody else, but not once did I
Hmm.
point the finger back at me. I didn't
Hmm.
point the finger back at me because I was too hurt to point that finger back at me. And so when I left her house, I had to deal with that. And my sister called me and said, hey, so and so sick. I said, okay, cool. And I got thinking about it. This man used to carry me across the bridge when I was a baby. This man used to keep me. He's the only father I ever known of. He was the only father I ever knew of, you know? And before he even had my sisters, he had me. And he met my mama when she was pregnant with me. And I had to think about that stuff. I said, well, yeah. Now I don't like the way how he did my mama. No. I don't like the way how he did me. No. But to know that that baby's sick, I got to reach out and say something. And so that night, I think it was that night or sometime that week. I can't even, I don't remember exactly, but I ended up writing him a letter. But I knew I wasn't going to mail that letter to him because usually if I write a letter, I'm going to tear it up. But instead, I decided to text him what I wrote in that letter. And I thanked him for everything that he ever done for me. From that moment when I was a child to the point when I had pneumonia to the point where, you know, I had no one else but him. I thanked him for all that. And I
And
just,
so this is the same person that was your abuser that now you're
mhm,
thanking.
I thanked him.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
thanked
Just
him.
want to move on and make sure we catch it up. But go ahead.
Hmm.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I thanked him because I had to think about the things that he did good in order for me to think about the things to forgive him for. Because I knew if I thought about what I was so mad about, I would never recognize the things that he still did good in my life to even forgive him. So I thanked him first. And then I went into detail about how I felt and how I felt betrayed and how hurt it hurt me all those years and how much it controlled a lot of way how I operated within the people that I encountered along my life in my path. And I said through it all at the end of the day, I forgive you. And I mean, when I told him I forgave him, I didn't just forgive him on paper. I forgave him from the release of my own spirit because I no longer felt the way how I felt in that moment when I finally texted him and pressed that button send. That was like a kettle pot. Okay, like a kettle pot, and it say,
Mm-hmm.
it felt like
Uh-huh.
I was whistling through my spirit.
There's wheezing out of there. Uh-huh.
I felt like I was really like whistling through my spirit because I got to release something that was so heavy on me. And I got to
Mm-hmm.
think about all the things that I did to myself. And I was able to release all that all at one time. So when I forgave him, y'all, I forgave myself too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you got to be able to forgive yourself. And the way I forgave myself was that I acknowledged it. I recognized how bad it hurt me. I saw what it did to me and the outcomes of the things that I went through. And I made a decision to never want to feel that way again. And then I decided to provide for me and say, you know what, Lord, I forgive me so I could forgive him. And now that I could forgive him, guess what? It was easy for me to forgive everybody else. It was so
Mm-hmm.
easy for me to forgive everybody else because it was like the thing that was holding me down so strong, I no longer allowed it to have power over me. And I no longer allowed it to uh, develop hate within me. I no longer looked at men the same no more as with so much hate and malice. And I also learned to develop a different type of spirit within myself to smile and feel good about my smile. I no longer felt like I was burdened by the heaviness of what it took for me to get to that space. So, Dimitri, if you ever see this, I just want to say thank you. Because in that day, in that moment, that hour of me packing up my kids, about to leave your house, girlfriend, I was not feeling you. But you released something inside of me as a woman. As a woman. She released something inside of me as a woman. And to this day,
Yes.
I get to live in forgiveness. And it feels so damn good, y'all. It tastes so good.
Yes.
It's delicious. It tastes delicious.
Yes, Queen. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I like that you said think about the good deeds. I like that you said think about the good stuff that whatever or whoever offended you. Think about what was the good in it. And I think that go kind of with the saying the lessons and blessings. And
Yeah.
so in all of this, like after the forgiveness, after you fallen back in love with yourself, then how do you use it? Like, so all right, I learned how to do this thing for me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But and I'll share, with me, and I know at one part of the journey, the healing journey, you you learn how to forgive, but then now you go into this mode of protection.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I forgave you, but nobody ain't never gonna do this to me again, and you damn sure ain't gonna do it to my kids. We already know about that mama syndrome. So
Hmm.
the kids start to get blocked from life almost because I know with me, you live in a fear, and I'm to a sexual assault survivor, and you live in a sense where you try to do everything so this won't be that generational curse,
Hmm.
and also still try to receive now your new gift. So I think I'm asking, how do you operate in the new spirit of forgiveness and self-love, because that looked different. And I told you, and we talked earlier, when
Hmm.
you too happy, that pisses the spirit of all kinds of hate
Yeah.
off. Like
Yeah.
it start to make up lies about you. It start to say,
Hmm.
"Oh, she ain't really for real. Oh, she just faking. Oh,
Yeah.
she trying to act. Oh, what about this one? She trying to act like Demetria now."
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's how they
how
do.
do I operate? How do I operate in a spirit of forgiveness now? Because first they say forgive, but then once you begin to do this and you are wearing it, like you
Hmm.
put on the armor of what that looks like. It looks like peace. It looks like smiling. It looks like you don't look like you've been through or even going through what you're
Hmm.
going through. You're growing and you're glowing. How do you comfortably wear that without going back to that sinking place?
Well, I mean, at the moment of forgiveness, it like when I tell you it's like that whistling pot, it was like a moment of relief. Before, I was more so guarded than I was after the point of me being able to forgive. Once I forgave, I realized that that spirit can no longer come back around me. That spirit will actually be acknowledged. And then now I know what to look for or what not to go for or how to deal with and how to move about. So just because you forgave something, you learn what it is that you also learn from what it is that you forgave. And then now you also put yourself in a place of protection, not in the place of protection of hiding out, because we're going to talk about that later. Like once you start isolating yourself, that's a whole nother issue. But you're going to be able to be more protecting of the people that you decide to surround yourself with. You're going to start developing more quality like type people. You're going to start developing more people who are going to help you take you to a different space. It's going to help you elevate. You know, I'm big on actually having mentorship. You need to be able to get those things out. You should still be able to talk about it, but you should never talk about it from that hurt space. Because once you start
Mm,
talking about it from that hurt space, that means that you truly have not forgave. You're still holding on. So the
mm,
key is not to continue to dwell in that hurt space or put yourself back in those places. And the way how you know that you finally got over it, you don't see those type of people no more. You don't acknowledge those type of people no more. You don't deal with those type of people no more. Matter of fact, those type of people don't even attract themselves to you any longer. You know,
You
I,
answered my question because I was about to ask you
Mhm.
about the attraction part
Yeah,
and the transformation.
yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry, Queen.
No, because you're gonna start getting back what you put out. And that's the key. You
Mm,
gotta start operating within the law of attraction so that way you can put out good things and receive the people that's gonna be able to feed back into those good things. And then that's how you know that forgiveness has now consumed you and you are now releasing your
mm,
own power. You're now releasing your own self-love. You're now releasing your own spirit into others that actually now need you because you went through that not necessarily for you. You went through that for them because you got to be able to stand tall in the midst of their own struggles. So just know
mhm,
that whatever it is that you go through, it's not for you. It's for you to get through for somebody else so that way you can help somebody else who's actually in a worse situation as you, who may not necessarily have the same mindset that you currently have right now. So that is how you basically avoid the past, right? And now you're able to move on to the future, but now you're moving on into the future in your own truth, not in the truth of
mhm,
others or how they try to portray you. Because people are going to try to portray you any way they want to. I mean, like, you'd
mhm.
be surprised at how many people just don't like me because they don't like me. They can't tell you my favorite
Mhm.
color. They can't tell you where I worked at unless they see me there. They can't tell you what I do for a day. They can't tell you how my day even operate. They don't even know that my phone really don't even ring. I work all the time. If it's not business, my phone don't even ring. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But people will make up all these different things about you, and then it's like God start revealing those spirits. So therefore, you now learn who people are, and you learn that you don't want to be around those type of people. Because to me, them type of people really be
Right.
crazy. They be looking for
Right.
or seeking attention, and it's like I don't have that for you. You got it for you.
Yeah.
And obviously, it lets me know that they have not got themselves to this place, and it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. And you can't be mad at them, y'all. Don't never be mad at nobody who mad at you. Just still smile, keep on smiling, and keep on carrying through because eventually one day they got to still come back and see you. They got to ask you for something.
Mhm.
They got to talk to you about
Mhm.
something. And they're going to have to deal with you about something because you never know what type of uh, you never know what type of place that you're going to go to, right? And they might end up having to buy your product off a shelf. You just never know. So don't worry about
Right.
the people in the moment. You just never know how they still going to have to connect themselves to you. And so
Right.
just let it go, man. Let it go.
Right. And so you said something about isolation and
Yeah.
forgiveness. So
Yeah.
I know last week we talked about the spirit of suicide, and we had that conversation with our guests last week. And sometimes I know in a journey of forgiveness, there is a period of isolation because you question yourself, what the hell have I done?
Mhm.
Why? Because I don't, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think forgiveness is I forgive you today and I'm a master of forgiveness today. I don't think it goes like
No,
that.
it don't.
It's one of those things where I meet you or I hear about you, I meet you, I got to get to know you, and then let's see if we can build something with this relationship and a solid foundation on trust, like trusting that this process is definitely purpose. It's for us. It's divine. It's sent here. So in that place of forgiveness, when you do go into that isolation space, like some people call it depression, some
Yeah.
people call it they call it all the bad things. I rarely often hear anyone talk about going into a place of isolation, taking something as good as forgiveness to accompany you so that you can develop a relationship for yourself with forgiveness, and also how to be effective with giving it out and attracting that kind of energy into you. So how long is isolation? What does it look like? And to me, when I think about isolation, I think about the hell with everybody, right? Like, I don't
Mhm.
care what you say. Don't call me. I did what you want. Leave me the hell alone. Y'all got what you want? You happy? All right, whatever. So that's what isolation looks like for me. It looks like sitting sometimes in your own shit and understanding what part did I play? How is this affecting me? Now that I met you, you're willing to give me you. How can I effectively stay in this space? Like, how long does isolation take? And when did you come out? Like, did somebody push you out? Are you forced out? Or you just say, you know what? I ain't no goddamn chump. Like, how does that work?
Isolation really is a process, and it's dependent upon the person. And it's nothing that you just necessarily come out of. You just got to start developing a mindset that you don't never want to stay stuck in that moment another day. And it's hard. It's hard to get unstuck. I developed. I went through a situation where I actually isolated myself. 2021. I had went through like a domestic violence situation. And that situation was the first time I've ever experienced domestic violence. And it was one of the most terrifying moments of my life. Like, I was so terrified. I was so terrified the next week I went straight to get my concealed weapons permit and never really ever shot a gun a day in my life. But I listened to the instructor and I start grouping stuff up. I don't know. I must have started thinking about what I went through, but I did. But I did isolate myself from the world because at that point in time, I didn't know who to trust. And I also didn't want nobody to see my face that way. I didn't want nobody to see me that way. I didn't feel like I was even good enough to be seen, you know, and it really hurt me. And so, in the process of my isolation, just so happened right before I went through the domestic violence situation, my cousin had gave me a dog. He gave me a German Shepherd. And so, my German Shepherd was only what I think 2 days in my house, maybe 3 days as a puppy. And Lola, she was in my house, such a beautiful dog. And unfortunately, my dog ended up witnessing that with me because my dog was there while it happened. And basically, my cell phone was taken. I had to go outside and bang on doors just to get help, you know. And I dealt with that a whole week and I didn't tell nobody what I really experienced. I think my family knew because I told them like the next day, but only my local family, very small people, but not a whole lot. But finally, one day I decided to say, you know what? Enough is enough. I accidentally dropped my phone underneath my bed. I dropped my phone because it slid underneath the thing. And when I went and get my phone off from underneath the bed, the very thing that that person decided to beat me for was actually underneath my bed as well. Because I literally had to move the mattress. I had to move the thing, and just so happened my cell phone was underneath the bed, and the person's cell phone that was actually looking for their cell phone when it happened, it was underneath the bed too. And I sat on the side of that bed on the floor and I bawled out in tears because I got hit because they lost their cell phone in my house when they thought I actually had their phone. My bed sits so darn low to the ground. They thought I had it, but I never once had their phone. But I just said, hey, listen, you just got to go. I don't care where your phone is at, but you got to go. And they never fussed at me. They never said anything to me. As I was walking, trying to get their stuff out the house by the front door, that person literally looked at me, spit in my face, and started beating me in my face. And so the face that you see now, I thank God is healed. But that day was a total different experience. And when I had to sit on that floor and I had to cry because I seen what the hell I really got beat for, I put on social media. I posted my picture. I posted my picture. And I told everybody what the hell I went through because everybody always thought of me being fine. Because I'm so used to just, they used to me being by myself anyway, because I'm always working. I'm always doing stuff with the kids, so people don't never really reach out to me that much because they know I'm always doing something. But when they hadn't heard from me, didn't see my social media, nothing, people really was kind of concerned. So when I post that picture, I got so many calls, so many messages, so many people had a lot to say. And in that moment, I felt so horrible. And I isolated myself and I start loving my dog, Lola. I start loving her. And to be honest with you, my dog actually helped me get through that moment of isolation in the beginning. Because you actually go through stages of isolation. It's just not one way of isolating yourself and out there's gonna be that one way. No, you really go through stages. So my first stage was that I closed myself off to everybody because I felt like I wasn't good enough to be seen. My dog helped me go through that. Then it went to me closing myself off. I'm not wanting to get out of bed now. I'm not wanting to get up and brush my teeth or put on no clothes or take a shower now. So I remember one day I didn't feel good. I just didn't, and not that I didn't feel good. My mind had me thinking I didn't feel good. And I just want to lay in a bed. And my dog had got used to my schedule. That's the beautiful thing about having a dog when you're going through this. So my dog had got used to my schedule. So Lola had then came to the bed and she started pulling on the sheets. And then she walked to the bathroom and sat in the bathroom. Then she came back again and she pulled on the sheets and she went back in the bathroom and sat in the bathroom. Then I had my
Oh,
rag up on the counter. She literally took my rag off the sink and brought my rag to me.
oh,
And that day was the day I realized like how bad my isolation had went and slipped into depression because my dog actually had me getting up to go take my shower. And I said, "Okay, Lola, thank you. I appreciate you." And I went in the bathroom and I actually took my shower. Then after I went in the bathroom, took my shower, she was actually being potty trained. She went to the outside, I mean, to the door. She kept barking by the door. "Arr, arr." I mean, she was just barking. And I'm like, Lola, I'll put you a pad down in the house. I don't care. And she kept going to the door. And she kept going to the door. And finally, I said, okay, I'm going to take you outside to use the restroom. No, when I went outside, y'all, she was trying to pull me all over outside. And then finally, she did use the restroom. And when I tried to take her back upstairs, she refused to go upstairs. She wanted me to stay outside. And so I ended up
Oh,
walking my dog like the whole day. And that's when I realized that I had slipped into depression because my dog had seen it and my dog recognized it. And my dog actually helped me get up that day. And my dog made me see the sunlight that day. As a matter of fact, I think I didn't no blinds was open, no nothing. I was just laying there. And my dog was not going to let that happen. So I find it very important that whenever you find yourself slipping into depression or when you see yourself going into a way of isolation, then have something that can help you feel good, like a pet or like a cat or a dog or a bird or something. You'd be surprised how smart those creatures are and why God, and also you'll be able to understand why God made them because Lola actually helped me through my isolation because now she
wow.
became more of like a responsibility. You know, she really made sure I stayed on top of my schedule. And I developed like a love for my dog that was like of my own kids. My kids couldn't even do that
Oh,
for me. But my dog was able to because my kids, you know, they kind of get into their video games, they're doing all that other stuff. But my dog was there with me when I went through the situation. My dog
wow.
just laid underneath me as a puppy, like she laid underneath me, and I was potty training her. But when I didn't feel like getting up, Lola was not having it. Mm-mm. No,
Wow.
it wasn't gonna happen.
Wow. That is amazing. You make me want to get a little pup. I
I'm telling you,
have a
she was the
friend.
best gift
I
ever.
have a friend. She got three of them, and we just was talking today, and she actually was saying why she have three and why it's important for her to have all three of those pups. And she lost her mother, so went through grief, and she too said that she don't have the words to express what those little fur babies did for her. And so like she didn't want even bought a house just for them. Like so because she was renting at first. And so now she's like, no, they have to have their own bedroom and all this stuff. And I'm like, well dang. But they showed her how to attend to herself, like you said, love herself, forgive herself, and now she's so much better with other people.
Yeah,
So I told her, well, I said, I'm gonna buy your puppies a gift because, like, even she's more gentle to herself. At first, it was a lot of aggression, a lot of just not happy space, and so it's amazing like what an animal will do. I know for my daughter, in our situation when she went missing and ended up in human trafficking, the best therapy that worked was equine therapy, and that's where they use just the animals and horses and dogs and cats and different things like that to communicate with the client that they're working with. So animals are good, and I'm happy that you are around still to tell your story. And I thank you for having such courage to come and tell your story and share, like just the hows and how do you get from point A to point B, even from a child. Like in your case, and in a lot of our cases as melanated women, we are often in a place of being victimized and left to just survive.
yeah,
I was sitting, I was thinking about the subject of survival. I know I had been telling around with that, like, well, what's the difference in victim and surviving? And I'm always asking these questions because they directly impact me and my sisters like you. And so the spirit clearly said to me, said, well, some victims were only left to survive. They didn't have any other choice. So, in a sense, being a victim ain't no better than being a survivor if you really think about it. Because if I was just left here to live or just dwindle away and die, then that's still a part of being victimized. It's still, being in that space where you have to overcome these silent voices and, start to love yourself. You said it was a time when you didn't even like yourself. Like I can relate to that as well. How getting back to that, and it's important. It's important that we continue to have these conversations and be transparent with it and show people that healing is not always easy and
Mhm.
forgiveness ain't fun.
Yeah.
But we're worth every bit of we're worth every bit of the things that we go through. So because like you said, we don't go through this stuff for ourselves. We
Mm.
go through it so that someone else that's coming after us, so that's right where we are right now, is confirmed and they can learn how to get through these things and follow that compass guide. And sisters like you, Angel Bryan, she said that's her dog. So I think Angel had a dog too, a doggy story too. So these doggies are showing out around here.
Yes, I'm telling
Um,
you. It was amazing to actually have Lola. Also
wow.
too, while actually having my dog, I end up going to see one of my I call her a mentor. I love her. I really do. I mean, like I met her when I was like in my 18. I was like 18, and I modeled for a show for her. And I called her and I went and sat on her couch. And I said, "I got a gift for you." And I went and took her something for her house. But at the same time, I wanted to talk to her. I just needed to talk to somebody because I realized that I was really getting into a space of hate again. And I did not
Mm,
want to have hate for this next person because they did me
mm,
so wrong. And I didn't want to continue to stay in that space because I've never really had to deal with depression before. Even after I went through what I went through with my stepdad when I was a kid, I didn't understand what depression was. But as an adult, I never really developed that type of depression before. And it was kind of hard for me to really overcome. So I'm not going to let you say, okay, yeah, just because I got a dog, it was easy. No, it was not easy. It was really
right.
hard because I had to continue to tell my mind that I'm going to be okay, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to tell my mind that the reason why he did it wasn't necessarily directed at you, it was a spirit within him. And I had to tell my mind that basically, if it wasn't you, it's gonna be somebody else. Just so happened it was you because you was there. And then I had to tell my mind, like, why am I gonna allow this to continue to hold me back? Why I'm gonna allow this to continue to, you know, make me feel some type of way when I shouldn't. I've always been the friend that told my friends, if you ever go through a domestic violence, girl, you better leave him. Why you staying with him? Why you want to be with him? Like, why you think that it's okay? Why you want to blame you for you? And when you actually finally actually experience it, what? What? Listen,
Mm,
it's a
mm,
total different ball game. I just thank God that I was strong enough to not ever want to cross that path again. So I thank God that I was strong enough to know better because I seen it as a child with my own mom.
yeah.
But I spent so many years trying to avoid it to where I done asked God for so much. God say, baby, I'm sorry you gotta go through this, but I gotta put you through this. I gotta let you experience it, baby, because what you asking me for, I need you to be able to touch people that you never touched before. And
Wow.
unfortunately, baby, I needed you to experience this so that way you can help other abused women. You can help other women who see no other way out. You can help women have faith and strength to know that they can to overcome this type of situation. And before, when I was just talking about it, I could honestly say I was being so judgmental. I was being so biased because I just thought that it was an easy process to get rid of because you know it wasn't for you. And I was so
Yeah.
wrong. I was so wrong.
Yeah.
And it took for me to actually have to experience it, see myself in the mirror and look in my face, and also see what it did to me because it took a lot away from me. And so I just want to say that while you're going through it, just know that it's a place for you to go through it in that moment. But if you can avoid it, by all means, don't put yourself through it. And that was something I did not do. I didn't put myself through it because I didn't expect that. But however, when you're going through it, let's figure it out. Let's admit to it. Let's talk about it. Let's get the help that you need and let's start moving forward. Because if you stay in that space, you're not going to progress to where you know that you're going to be at. You know you have a calling on your life. You know you have a purpose. You know your journey is worth it. But you got to do the things that it's going to take you to do that, even feel so freaking uncomfortable. You gotta do it. You gotta go through it. And sometimes God will put some heavy things on you or allow some heavy things to happen to you just so that way you can
Yeah.
relate to the people that you need to relate to accomplish whatever it is that your heart desires. And just so happen, I want to be an inspirational speaker, which I am now. I am an inspirational speaker. But
And
at that time, I
speaking of you
wanted to
being an
be.
inspirational speaker, we have two comments from our audience. Angel says, depression is deep and something difficult to deal with, especially when the people around you are fading around. So that was from Angel. And then Neil Berry asks, do you have a support group?
Yes. I created my support group. I created the people around me, y'all. I choose now what is going to be a part of my space. I'm not in that space no more. It was that in that time, but I went through stages of it. So basically, at that time, I was also an entrepreneur. I was working. I actually just started at my insurance company, Complete American Insurance Protection Professionals. I'm also a signing agent, and I was also like talking about becoming a bail bondsman at that time, but I was not a bail bondsman at that time. I was still actually really developing my business. So what happened was when I was going through that process, I stopped working for myself. So everything I worked so hard for, I watched myself lose.
Mm,
I lost my place. My car got repossessed. I went through some things with my kids. I went through a lot of stuff after that. I went through a lot, you know? And what I did was in my journey of healing, I got me a job. I just wanted to work because I knew I needed people around me. When COVID took place, it seems like the whole world shut up down around you. She's right.
oh gosh,
Everything
yeah, it
shut
did.
down. And I mean, when it
It
was like when
did.
it was like when COVID took place, a lot of shit happened. A lot of shit
Yes, it
happened.
did. It
A-
did.
And
It
it
did.
made you,
It exposed a lot of things.
yeah, yeah, a lot of shit happened. Like a lot of shit happened when COVID took place. I know I can say for myself, hell, right after COVID came about, I think it came out in February, March.
Mm-hmm.
In
Yep,
April,
March.
in April of that year, I ended up having a brain aneurysm. I still have it. I still have it, but however, I get it checked on, so that's a beautiful thing. It has not ruptured, but that happened. Then I ended up moving back to South Carolina. Then I ended up, being down here, not necessarily appreciating the fact that I'm down here because I'm really upset I'm down here. Because that was not my plan, intentions, and goals. I mean, I worked on so much in Charlotte. I felt like I lost everything. And then
Mm,
I get down here. I'm trying to find my place and my space. My friends ain't the same. My business
mm-hmm.
ain't the same. The people that come around me to see me, they don't come see me no more. The people who I wanted to be around me, who I thought I was gonna be able to have when I came back, they wasn't even here no more, or either moved on or got married or had other things going on, or just simply not even doing the same things that I'm doing now. And so I felt like I lost so much prior to me experiencing that. And then when that happened, it was like boom. And then it was like I had to I had to guide myself through that healing process. So I don't want to make it seem like it was because of just that. No, it was a sequential of events that took place
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
helped that isolation, that helped that depression to seep and fester through my soul. And that's what happens when you become isolated and you start getting depressed. It festers through your soul,
Mm-hmm.
and it feel like it's something that you can't it feel like somebody just took your breath away from you, and you still got to try to gasp for air and ask for survival at the same time. So I had to survive that, y'all, and I had to figure it out. And I had to find out what would work for me. And I had to remember what did work for me to help me get through other stuff.
Mhm.
And then I had to revamp myself, and I stopped working for myself. And I decided to let everything go. And in the process of me letting everything go, I'm not caring about paying my taxes. I'm not caring about paying my bills. I'm not caring about none of that stuff because it had got to me so bad.
Wow.
It had got to me so bad. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It got to me bad. But at the same time, like I said, because I had my dog, and then I start jotting down different ways that I can help make me happy. And then I said, Adrian, you loved yourself before all this happened. Now this happened. Don't stop loving you. Then I
Mhm.
started writing myself letters.
Nice. I like that. I like that remedy right there. Like, write yourself a letter.
I started writing
Um,
myself letters, telling myself how much I love me.
I love it. I love it. And I think I mean, I guess that's part of self-love. I mean, even
Yeah.
though I never wrote myself a letter, like I said, Asia, from the moment that you and I first talk all the way until right now, like you're giving me a lot of things that I can add to what it is that I already do. Some people see the people who's strong and probably already on the healing journey and think that healing kind of stops when you meet it, and it doesn't.
Mhm. Mm-mm.
I think that the more you try to heal and build, like you said, the bigger the level, the bigger the devils,
Yeah,
and that's how it goes. So I'm definitely taking on that write yourself a letter. I'm gonna start
I
writing myself a
did.
letter. I like it, right? And I never tried that before. um and I know one thing that I do like to say. I always laugh when I think about this. And I was dating somebody a while back, and it was, when I was trying to go back into this dating scene, and I remember fussing. I'm like, because you don't even buy me flowers. But in the midst when I said that, and I was comparing them to what I was used to, and because I went back, because I'm used to this, and I ain't got to settle. You know how we can get. And so the spirit came to me and said, "Well, how many times have you brought your own flowers?
See, I was about to
Like
say that.
you so angry with someone about doing something that you rightfully want and you deserve it, but what's stopping you from treating yourself how you want other people to treat you?" And at that point, I began to do some self accountability work and
Mhm.
actually explored buying myself flowers. And not only now do I buy myself flowers, I buy other people flowers. And I'm like, men deserve flowers too, So, um, and so it's all about learning how to fall. How I'm gonna say stand in love with
Yeah.
yourself. I don't think love should knock you down, like Carrie Hilson said. I don't think it should knock you down, but it
Mhm.
does sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's not about what you do when you get knocked down. It's about what you do when you get back up, um,
Mhm.
after you've been knocked down. And so this show has been good for me tonight. You said the key word, today is the day.
Today is
Today
the
is
day.
the day. Today
Yeah.
is the day. Let me bring it right back to today is the day. I like that.
Yeah, today is the
When you
day.
say today is today, if and when, and maybe we have somebody watching right now that's in that space, where they don't feel like that, they have enough. They don't feel like they are enough. And they don't feel like that it's possible. Um, when we speaking of forgiveness, that equals self love. What would you say to that person? That person that could be laying in the bed just like you were right now. We know the holidays are coming. The holidays
Mhm.
is a heavy space for a lot of people. A lot of people are going through grief and uncertainty still in the height of the pandemic. Um, what you say to that person, besides just get up out the bed and you could do it? What would be your words?
You got to start commanding your moments. You got to start commanding your day. Like, I want to go back to the letters because that was how I helped myself. You got to start writing letters to yourself. And everything that you actually expect of that person, You ask of that for yourself. I started writing on my mirrors in my house. I started writing like paragraphs, phrases, quotes, and not quotes of no one else's words but my own, because I needed to hear from me. I needed to know that I love me, and I need to start receiving me. And that's what I did. I gave me me. And when I started writing letters to myself, y'all, I started taking myself out on dates too. Like
Yeah, I do
every
that. Now I do that
like, and
every
to be
Monday.
honest with you, I have more fun dating me than I actually have
Yes,
dating somebody else sometimes. Like, actually,
that
not
is the
sometimes,
hat.
most of the times. It's most of the time.
Yep.
Because I still date me. Like, I would go and take myself out to a very nice restaurant, and I might
Mhm.
sit at the bar. But see, while I'm
Yeah.
sitting at the bar, I'm talking to somebody. It's not like when you sit at the bar, you by yourself, you ain't got nobody to talk to. You actually put
Right.
yourself in a place of interaction. I knew I needed people. And so I started going to the bar and I was talking to the bartender. Next thing you know, somebody sitting beside me, they start talking to me. They might have sports on the TV. We might start talking about the sports show. We might start talking about the racing. We might just start talking about anything, you know. And then I said, oh my God, I could build network this way. And then I start taking myself to the bar even more so that way I could start working back on my business because I had lost sight of my business when I got depressed and when I started isolating myself.
Mhm.
So now I'm at the bar, I'm telling people about what I do, and I'm letting them know what I want to do and how I'm going to do it. And every time I kept saying it, I didn't realize I was bringing it more into my life.
Yep.
I was I was developing my character. So, and then also too, before all this took place, right, with the situation of domestic violence, I always gave my kids affirmations. And I had them speak out two different paragraphs that I created myself for them because I wanted my kids to know who they were as a child going into their adult life. From to this day forward, I still ask them to regurgitate these because I never want them to lose sight on things that I never had as a child. And I want to share it with y'all because I feel like those affirmations are very important. And what happened was while I'm thinking I'm doing this for my kids, I really did it for me because I needed to hear
Mhm.
that too. And I
Mhm.
had needed to remind myself of these things. So one of them is I thank the Lord for this day and cherish the moments that are here to stay in my heart and in my mind to develop my character for the greatness of my future. And my kids spit it out. And I'm thinking I taught them this just because I wanted them to know more about themselves. I wanted them to develop their best character and I wanted them to think about their own personality and how they're going to get there. And I end up start quoting that back to myself. I start saying it out
Yeah.
loud. but
Yeah.
it, but while I'm saying it out loud, y'all, I'm developing my own character. I'm
Yes.
gaining more strength. I'm gaining more momentum. Now it's like Lola no longer have to tell me come outside. I'm having to drag Lola outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause I be wearing Lola out now at that point in time, I start wearing her out because I start
Uh-huh.
speaking back to myself and I start loving myself and I start appreciating me more. And I started asking God for more. And I kept knowing that as long as I continue to develop my character, then I'm developing me. So for the people who are currently sitting in the bed and you don't see no way out and you're currently depressed right now, just know that it's up to you as to how you're going to define and develop your own character. Can't nobody else do that for you. And guess what? Can't nobody else do? They can't even take your character away from you. They could hurt you, they could beat you, they could spit on you, they could treat you as bad as they want to. But that character that's inside of you, they can never take away from you. You just got to continue
Wow.
to develop and continue to improve with the character that's already within you. And you define it the way how you want it to be, not how they see it to be, not how they want it to be, but how you want it to be because it's up to you what is going to come out of that. And so
Wow.
while I taught my kids that, I had to go back and research that myself and start using it for me.
Mhm.
Also, Because of how I was raised, I didn't necessarily have my mom or my dad to go to. I had family. So now I'm learning how to appreciate now my birth parents. And now I done taught my kids how to appreciate me, right? But at this point in time in my life, I didn't even realize I didn't necessarily appreciate my birth parents, regardless of them being there or not. And I have to appreciate them just for the simple fact of giving me life.
Yeah.
I'm here. No one else in my family share any parts of my DNA besides my birth mother and my birth father. That's it. Not even my sisters, not even my brothers. Nobody else but me. And when I realized how unique I am, and it's almost like I'm the only child, but I'm not the only child. I have siblings. But when I defined
Yeah.
how unique I am and how God created me and how God brought me about, I knew that my calling on my life wasn't just for me. It was for those around me because he made me so damn unique. I don't
Yes.
share a sibling with neither one of my parents, except for one or the other, and sometimes not even the other, or either or.
Yeah.
But yet, God protected me through the strength of my family, so that way I could be able to acknowledge those things. So now, I'm telling my kids, what is the other one they do? I forgot it just that fast because I did it backwards. Hold on one second. I got it even better. I want to entertain y'all for a second. Hold on a second. I remember now that I called my son. Hey son, how you doing? I love you. I understand. I have a favor. I have a question. Will you please do something for me? So you know those sayings that I taught you guys, and I have you always quote it out. All right. So right now I'm on a podcast, and I just want to let you know that your voice is being heard. But I want them to hear. Yeah, they can hear you right now. So I want you to do me a favor. Let's go with the first one. Go with the second one. You ready? Go. I said the same thing as I said it backwards too, Kamari. So the other one, ask Cameron. No, we ain't gonna do the ching ching right now. It hit me and I went away again because he said that one first, like I did.
Uh-huh. And that's funny how your offsprings can do the exact same thing when you in the
Yeah,
moment, and it goes to show you how they are still connected even when that umbilical cord is cut. The energy is still stays.
it is there. Hey, Cameron, you ready? Mommy and Daddy loves you, but God loves you best. You gonna do it now? Let's do it. So you just messed it up too. Cameron, you ready? I know we both, all of us messed up, and we normally do it the other way around. So, mommy and daddy loves you, but God loves you best. That's not how it starts. I know we all did the same thing, and that was the very first one. I know because we said it backwards. All of us did. Even me. All right, I'll call you back. I love you. If you remember, call me right back. Oh, yeah, we're kind, we're smart, and important. Here we go. Thank you. Love you.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah, so
Thank you.
I had to tell myself that I'm kind and I'm smart and that I'm important. And I then had to say my mommy and daddy loves me best. I mean, my mama and daddy loves me, but God loves me best. And I had to tell myself I'm my own boss and I'm my own leader, and I'm going to be an entrepreneur when I grow up. Or actually, I should say I'm already an entrepreneur. I'm going to be a better entrepreneur. And so,
Mhm,
as I kept quoting that to myself, then it made me really think about my own work ethic and how I really fell off and how I didn't want to stay in that space no more because I knew that I had already developed clients that was already dependent upon me. They were already calling me. They were still referring people over to me even while I was feeling down and out, you know? And I had got to the point where I started ignoring phone calls. I stopped talking
mm,
on the phone all the time, you know? And then I felt like that my clients didn't necessarily deserve me as their leader. I didn't think my clients even deserved me as a person who's currently working on the account because I had done let myself go so much. So, for a while too. I want to say it took me like a year, almost a good year to get myself together, you know?
mhm.
But I had to start, affirming and setting paths and start directing my days and start directing my life. So that way I can become better. And I had to keep telling myself that my mommy and daddy, they love me and they love me the best way how they knew how. And to be
Yep.
honest with you, my mom, right? She couldn't be that mom that I needed when I was younger. But now, honey, as an adult, she's like one of the best things I've ever had. She became like my best friend. Because I get to call on her and
Lesson.
talk to her and ask her questions that I never ever could ask her before, or share things with her that I get to share. I mean, like, we get to cry together, we get to just rejoice together because I got to help her go through her situation. She got to help me go through mine. And she was no longer in the state or mind frame that she was in before when she couldn't do it. And now she can.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you, man, listen. It's life changing, but you gotta just make that decision to want to change. And the change don't come
Yeah.
overnight. It comes in
Yes.
sparks and it comes in dedication and it comes in learning how to love yourself first and understanding that before you could really love yourself first, you got to be able to acknowledge everything that has actually hurt you and you got to forgive it. And then you'll define what that self love is going to look like for you. And then everything that I asked for in a man, I now demand it of myself. So that way I don't have to
Yeah.
depend on a man
Yeah. You
to do that
we
for
have
me.
to. Yes, and you know what? Salute to our brothers and the kings out there. Definitely. Um, I am enjoying the sisters on this road. And I'm even starting to see some of our kings that be transparent and vulnerable and share what you just shared. Like, once you can do it for yourself,
Yeah.
everything else just comes. It just come to you. And I know too, sometimes I'm always trying to pay attention to myself outside myself
Hmm.
because and that's hard sometimes. Sometimes you got to record and go back and listen, or be ready to hear what somebody that's not you see. But when I'm doing that, I'm always quick to respond to how can I make this better? How can I become the master of the mistakes that we made?
Hmm.
Because believe it or not, mistake actually makes you master.
It
You
does.
live by it. You've been through it. You know what it look like. You know what it
Hmm.
smell like. You can sense it from a mile away. You know the value. You know the worth. You know how much you're gonna pay for it. How much it should cost. And so getting comfortable with our mistakes and acknowledging, hey, my mistakes is what makes me master. My mistakes is what give me the ability to self-love and self-evaluate and be accountable. And I give this challenge to myself 'cause I'm such a giver. And one thing that givers do, we don't like to take, we don't like to receive. And that's to me a part of self-love too. Why don't you feel like you can receive? Why don't you feel like that you're good enough to receive? Why are you surprised when people treat you at a level that you deserve and desire to be treated, and it's not a holiday? So one thing that I say is I challenge myself to love myself more, or if not just as good as I've learned to master loving other people and becoming master of that mistake that really makes you great. Like it's nothing wrong with failing forward. And I know as entrepreneurs, we fail a lot. We fail a lot. We walk away from a lot of things. We come back to a lot of things. And it's a faith walk when you are in that lifestyle of entrepreneurship. Is you can choose to isolate, and you have to be like really disciplined. And like Neil said, well, when he asked you, you have a support group, like have that support group. Even if that support group is going to, I know when I was in a very dark place, one of my support groups was YouTube. Like I met
Yes.
everybody on YouTube. I met Les Brown, I met Eric Thomas, Ayana. Like I met everybody there. And the nice thing about that is that there was no level of limitation. Um, there, it was no judgment there. So if you can't start outside yourself and you have to be inside yourself, I would definitely say utilize the tools that we have and just take one step until you can get better at getting to the next step. Find Asia, y'all. Find her. Yeah, y'all better find her. Find her. I'm gonna be following her, y'all. So I already got the juice. Y'all gotta go and get y'all a cup and get your own juice. But find this sister. You have been absolutely a wealth of information tonight. You've been a breath of fresh air. Thank you for your transparency
Yeah.
and for sharing not how to just survive and go from victim to surviving, but how to be that warrior, and forgiveness and then self-love, and not putting no time limits. Hold on, go back to the word of the day. Today is the day.
Today is the day.
I
Yes.
like
Today is the day.
that. It
Because I mean, you got
is.
to make that decision. Like you got to, and that's another thing too. Like a lot of people say, I can't do this, I can't do that, or I'm not sure if this right here is really for me. I'm not sure if I can do that, or I don't know if how to charge people. Why should I charge people for my services? Or I don't know how to ask for help, or I don't think they're gonna do it as good as I could do it. And you have
Oh
to
gosh,
understand
yeah.
that today is the day that you have to be able to share. It's
Mm,
not about always giving, because sometimes, like, let's get back on giving too, because I'm a big giver, but
hmm.
not no more. No,
Yeah, yeah.
no, no. I'm choosy in how I give. And I'd rather give you the knowledge than to actually give you the product. Because if I give you the product, you're not gonna appreciate it the way how I appreciate it when I gave it to you.
Hmm.
You're gonna abuse it, you're gonna misuse it, and 9 times out of 10, you will not learn from it. But if
What
I
is
give you
the
the
difference
knowledge,
between product and knowledge when it comes to your giving? Um, like expand on that for us a little bit.
so product is like a tangible thing, something that's going to help them pacify the situation. It's going to be something that basically allow them to use it without having to put no type of thought process behind it. It's going to allow them to just, you know, take advantage of something that you worked so hard for. That is the product.
Mm,
The knowledge
mm,
is being able to give them wealth. Because when you give them the wealth of knowledge, then you're pouring into that person to help them guide them to a specific space into their own life. And see, when you actually provide them with the wealth of knowledge, then now they have to go research it themselves. Now they got to go look it up themselves. Now they're going to have questions. And actually,
so when
questions
you
are always
say
good questions.
give them the knowledge, that doesn't mean give them everything that you done learned. That means give them a reference point so they can like help me understand that too. Because I'm gonna tell you, I lost relationships and friendships on this very mindset. And I'm big on knowledge. I'm big on investing. I'm big on and starting within yourself. investing time in yourself, taking a whole day to yourself, being unapologetic. And so I'm big on that, whether it's buy a book that may have cost me a couple $100, so that I can, learn the information. I can have that reference point. And recently I took that mindset to say, you know what, I paid for this and I had to sit down and do the work for this, but I'm not giving it away anymore, because I feel like in giving that stuff away, it speaks about how you value yourself, how much you cared about your investment. For instance, if someone go and invest in real estate, well, they might let you lease the place, but you can't stay there for free. Like, that's their investment. And I feel like the same way with our temple, when we put in, I mean, whether it's a particular diet, whether like I'll show you, or tell you where you can find the information. And I think for some people that's great, because I know big hitters and they're not even showing you where you can order anything. Like, that's going to cost you, because they feel like, no, I'd made the investment. And then my thing is, when we give so much away, we're not, in my opinion, we're not really helping, we're hindering that person. And as soon as you put up that, no, it's going to cost you, now we have a conflict of interest. So when you say giving the knowledge, let's go back on that
Yeah,
part,
we
because
can
like
go
I said,
back.
I done lost some friendships on that already, where they like, you charging me. Like, I had one girl, she called me and she said, Chantal, I need you to help me establish my LLC. And because I'm the owner and operator of three different businesses or entities. And I don't mind, but if I'm doing three different businesses and myself, that's four businesses that I'm responsible for, whether it be taxes, whether it be knowing how it's flowing, what's changing, keeping it going, staying out of depression, and really doing what's required to live in that prayer that you asked for. So I said, well, told her it was going to cost a little bit of a fee, and included her filing fee, and she stopped speaking to me completely. Like, no goodbye, no nothing. And so only thing I had to work with is that, oh, you're angry, but these are things that I'm sure as a business owner, and I know as a business owner, we pay a lot of money. And I don't think enough entrepreneurs talk about that. Entrepreneurs always talking about the money that we make, but we never talk about how much money it costs to really build a solid foundation. At this point, 28 years later, with me going from one to four, I can't even tell you the amount of numbers that business it really require, to have a solid foundation, because you have a loss in profit, you have a gain. It's so many things that go on as it relates to that. And the new entrepreneurials, I think social media make it look like it's a click and we on our way, and that's so far from the truth. So the knowledge, you don't give it a you explain. You don't, do you give it away? Don't you give it away? And where's the boundary with that?
Okay, so let's talk about the knowledge because that's very key. Um, so like when you first starting your business and you start sharing stuff with your friends, right? And you start talking to them about the processes of what you're doing to get through your business. You might say, "Oh, girl, I'm trying to work on this right here." And the way I know to know who give knowledge to and who don't in that moment is by how much they're willing to help you to help develop your business. If you're there with me in the beginning and you was there with me when I was going through the paperwork, filing everything, and you're talking me through the whole process, by all means, you have just as much right to this information as I do. But if I'm in the process of actually building my business and I come to you and you kind of like, oh, yeah, but did you hear about Jessica yesterday? I don't like her, blah, blah, blah. Or did you hear about Sharon yesterday? She always in somebody, but yet you're like, okay, but okay, I get that. Yeah, but this is what I'm frustrated about. I didn't know how, and not that they make it about everything else besides what you're trying to build on. Them the ones who's going to come to you when it's a little bit too late. because now you done built the first part of your business. Now you're having to operate your business from like a business owner standpoint. Then you have to start teaching and developing others to help you run your business. Because now you got to realize you're not a one man show. You're going to make less money by being a one man show than being a 10-man show.
Right.
Have 10 people doing the same thing that you could do? It's a complete different process than if it's just you. So
Right.
then you pay attention to how they decide to now come at you or talk to you. You don't tell them everything that you did to get your business because now you're having to go down a roadway that you're not on. That's not your path. That's not your lane. So, you know what I did? I used YouTube. You should really go on YouTube and look at this LLC. Matter of fact, one of the guys I listened to um, was Tom Mosley. Please look him up. And he'll tell you everything you need to do. Then guess what you did? You put that now back into their hands. And now they have to go research what you might have had to research. Oh, you know what? I bought
Mm-hmm.
this book. This book taught me how to better manage myself with equal time. You know, you ought to go pick up that book. Matter of fact, here, if you want to borrow the book from me, but I got to get it back. Please give me back my book. So you kind of lead them,
I don't
but you,
lend out books no more. I don't lend
but
out
some
books
people
no
don't.
more.
I get it. I get
I
it. I
tell
get
you, no, I tell you what, like I because when you get a book, like that's sacred. That's
it.
sacred.
It
Like,
it can be,
what if you
yes.
don't get it back? Like, oh my God. Like, oh, I ordered the book and you just triggered something. Can you tell? I ordered the book. This is when I
You
came
better
to the
forgive that
end.
person.
Like, I forgive that person so much that I actually called them about the book because I was like into this book, um I was finished working for the day and I was like, oh, I'm about to finish it because you know how you get to that part and you just like going through. And it had something to do with studies and law and just different things like that. And I'm looking everywhere for the book, like, okay, where's the book? Like, I need where the book. And so I was like, I don't like calling my clients, asking them stuff. But this one I was like, exception to the rule. I'm calling. So I called, hey girl, that book that I let you read when you was out there the dryer, do you have that? Like, did you take it with you? And she's like, yeah, I took it with me. I felt life had left my body because for one, I had to order it, and now I gotta wait on a time, and I can't pick it back up. You know, when you get that flow, you kind of don't want to stop. So I was like, you know what? Did it come to kumbaya moment? Forgiveness. Okay, girl, forgive her. It's a book. It's a book. And so I said, okay. I still had a but, and the Lord was like, but you can order another one because how do you know who life you're going to save with her just
Right.
taking that book? And look at it as you fed into a client that's going to feed into somebody else and somebody else. And so I got over it and I got on Amazon and I ordered me another one. And it came. So I got another one. But that let me know that, so it's a new rule. Clients cannot read my books that has everything to do with like my structure and foundation. I
Hmm.
can give you the title, but I
Yes.
don't want you to make a mistake and take the book out of my presence.
But that's
My
good
books for
though.
me is my babies. I'm actually on this whole book journey with, so in my head, um, I'm gonna retire at 50. And so right now I'm building a retirement collection because I don't want to retire and then you don't have anything else to do. Like, I don't want depression to sneak back up. I don't. So I'm like, okay, it will come a time where I'm able to sit and immerse myself in this literature. And sometimes I skim through them, sometimes I'm able to read the whole thing. But and then in addition to building a retirement collection, I always tell people when I depart from this side, I want to leave a legacy of knowledge. I want to leave a legacy of true literature. Some books I have, you cannot get them anymore. Um, some books I have, you still can get them. But I don't lend them out because I'm thinking about my grandchildren. I'm thinking about my great grandchildren and history and how much of our history have been lost, stolen, or hidden away. So one thing that I see is let's start building that, and that put it in a safe space, of course, and then that will be something that stays in the family, and the family can forever have that knowledge that will lead them to their divine path, right? So because when you read something and I read something, we may get something totally different. And so it's my gift. Like we leave money, we leave things, but how many of us leave that library where the children, and the children have documentation? Because let's be honest, a lot of our history is being removed right in front of our eyes, like knocking down statues. This statue didn't change, or this law don't exist no more, abolishing this, and it's, so when you do that, you lose a sense of self. And if I don't know who I am, then how can I love this being when I have no knowledge of it? I have no knowledge of the greatness. And someone said, hey, you were born and it was whips and chains and you don't belong here. That is not who all of us are. And that is not all of what happened in some of those stories that was told. Some of those stories wasn't even true. And so just really going back to that place and learning self so that we can have the ability to forgive and love ourselves and outside of ourselves. So for
You
me,
see how that
no,
book
you can't.
me saying books just triggered you.
Yep. For me, you
I mean,
cannot,
like, we done had
you
a whole
can't
5 minutes
borrow any of my
of you
books.
talking about them get your books. But no,
Yeah,
actually, that
you
actually goes
cannot borrow my books.
so
You
that actually
cannot.
goes back to self-love though. Think about it now. I want to take it back to what we were talking about. So think about
Like
it.
that's
That's
like
part
me
of self-love.
taking your puppy away from you,
Hey,
taking
listen.
Lola away from you. It's a no.
Listen.
Like that's where you build that healthy boundary.
So that's exactly what I'm about to say. You see how, you found your self-love and your self-love
Yeah,
is through your books, right?
yeah,
And what you did was took a situation and you learned how to forgive that person, right? But you also created a
yeah, yeah,
boundary. And you
yeah,
created a boundary based upon what you know that could possibly irritate you or really bring
yeah.
out something different in you that you didn't necessarily like in that moment. And that's
Right,
with anything. It right now we're talking about the books, right? But then it could be your kids. Then it could be, your
right.
businesses, or then it could be
Oh yeah.
the way how you want to be treated, the way how you
Oh
feel as though that people
gosh.
should treat you. But however, right, by you setting those boundaries, you're now establishing a way to where you're directing your own path and your own journey to attract the things
Yes.
that is really for you versus the things that are not necessarily for you. So what I'm saying is like when it comes down to your friends, right? And they come to you when it's like in the latter part of your business, it's always good to direct them and then say, hey, listen, I can do it for you now. Because, if I do it for you, I have to treat you like I treat anyone else and I should charge a fee. And this is what my fee is. And then basically, it's up to that person if they choose to respect that or not, right? Now, if they choose not to respect it, then and they choose to cut you off, then you have to ask yourself, what is their own underlying motive? Why do they feel as
Oh,
though,
that's exactly where I am nowadays, to be
yeah,
quite honest, because we know, let's keep it 1,000 really. A lot of my money in business. Now I have a lot of melanated sisters that have supported me over the 28 years, and I'm most grateful for them. But moving into the corporate world is which the road that our business just kind of entered. Um, I gotta be honest and say most of my people that really, really, really support the mission and a vision of business, and I mean sacrifices and time and calling, there are people that don't look like me. There are people that do not look like me. Um, and I hate to say that, but I have to be real. And it's more, you know, I don't think I have to go into like like what that is,
well,
because you're a business owner. It's a lot of, or if you start to grow at a fast rate, it get different and strange. And so yes, I do take that approach. And I say it as nice as I can. And I do, I'll even send you some nice little emails and things like that. But if you want to be in business, and I think even if you want to live, like living is a business. Like let's get that out there. If you want to live, that takes investing. That takes in, or if you want to live the life that you want to live. Now, if you don't want to invest, then you're gonna live the life that somebody else built for you. And that's just the rule of thumb. Um, and I hope I'm not being cold for saying that, but that's the way I am as it relates to like, and that's part of self love. And the books are so important to me is because before any trauma and drama happened, I went back to like, what was my happy place in life when I was in my dark space? And one of my happiest places that I lived was when I've always loved reading. So it was when I had the freedom to read and I wasn't restricted dealing with life issues or didn't have the mental capacity to even be clear enough to read. So a couple years ago on my healing journey, when I started, one of the things that I said I would do is get back into buying yourself a book, go into the park, having freedom to read. So it's not just about receiving the knowledge for business, is actually one of my therapeutic self healing journeys that I also do as well. So it's like taking a part of my healing away. So, like you said, you notice the trigger, and people do have triggers, such as a book. Like to you, it's like, it's a book. To me, it's like, do you understand what I had to go through to get to that place where I even have the energy to go pick out the book, read the book? Like that take a lot of courage when you're in a dark space. Like you don't want to go outside. You don't want to, like, when I decided this Amazon wasn't popping yet. Like right now you can click order, bam, and it's at your front door. But let's not forget that right before the pandemic, a lot of us was going to the stores. And so that took it takes a lot. And I'm like you said, if you wasn't there for me when it all started, I just don't have the capacity to explain to you what's going on. The answer is a simple no, and it's power in no. And I teach people that it's power in no. And it's also power in simply sometimes doing nothing at all. Like just sit there and look and learn and see what happens. So maybe I'm wrong for saying that, but I don't think
No,
so.
no. I mean, like, I I actually found joy in the word saying no, because I used to say yes a lot to everything. Like, yeah, okay, cool. And then so I like to say, like, let's get back on topic because I really want to say something else too. The books is a no go for you. No more books. So no sharing the books.
No.
That's not happening. All right. So
Today is the day.
today is the
Today
day.
is the day.
All right. So we're gonna talk about something else now. So what I want to tell you that is the coolest thing about forgiveness and the coolest thing about defining self-love and knowing what self-love is for you. The coolest thing about it is that you get to set your boundaries. And when you set your boundaries, you're able to navigate a whole lot differently than the way how you used to
Mm,
navigate. And you're no longer allowing yourself to go through the things that you went through because now you've actually grown from it. You've grown up from it. Now, just because you've grown up from it does not mean that basically you would not encounter another situation that could possibly take you back to that space. You have to also understand that there's lessons in the blessings. And basically, the more you're able to say no and be completely honest with yourself and you start setting those boundaries, then the more you start attracting people that are really walking the same pathway as you to help guide you. So it goes back to what you said, did I have a team or do I have a people that I go to? I created my team. And I created my team by what I set my boundaries around and what I allowed to happen and what I chose not to allow happen. Everything don't have to have a response. Everything don't have
mm.
to be dealt with.
I like that.
Everything don't have to be said. And a lot of times when you start interjecting yourself into someone else's space, you're taking on their mess. And you have to ask yourself, are you really ready to take on that mess? Because now,
Mm,
if it don't work out, you're going to be the first one to blame. You're gonna be the
Mm-hmm.
first one to be picked on.
Oh.
You're gonna be the
Oh.
you're gonna be the first one that they're gonna say, "Hey, listen, it's about you," and they're gonna take the blame back off of them because now you interject yourself into their shit. You're not a
Mm.
toilet. You're not a toilet. So what I've learned is
Mm.
that a lot of people will be so willing to volunteer information. A lot of times we think, "Hey, I'm just trying to help you from getting into this situation. I'm trying to help you from um, being a part of that or this or whatever," right? You got to be careful of the information that you provide to people. You don't provide no one nothing until they come and ask you specifically for your help.
Mm.
But just because they're in your space
Mm.
and you might think that you got what they need to help them, does not mean they're going to accept what you have in you to help them. You're really hindering that person and you're putting yourself into a space of unforgiveness again.
Mm.
So you got to be careful of that. And that's what I found that
Mm.
I went wrong in my life. I kept thinking I could fix people. I kept thinking that I can help people. I kept thinking that I had some good advice to help them from going through what they were going to go through, right? But instead, they left me high and dry every single time.
Mm.
And not
Mm-hmm.
intentionally. It's because their spirit couldn't handle my spirit. They
Yeah.
couldn't handle my perseverance. They couldn't handle
Yeah.
my energy. They couldn't handle the drive. And see, you got to allow people to take place in their own space. And if you know that that person is on the roadmap going down a different way, and if they have not came to you, ask you for nothing, say, baby, you know what? I thought I would want to help you, but you never came to me. But because you never came to me, I realized that this present moment is not our time. And I want you to fix whatever you need to fix within you. And you got to go the other way. You got to go the other way because you got to show your strength. Because once you show that strength, then that person's going to come back to you because they're actually going to honor that strength within you. Because you didn't give them the tools, nor did you also give them the resources freely. They had to come back to you, and you got to allow them to come to you. Don't go to them. Don't interject yourself into their mess. Let them go through that mess the same way how you had to go through it. Sorry, baby, but not so sorry because they got to learn. And that's what I
Right.
had to do. I had to learn. And I had to remember that at the end of the day, it's up to me. And I create my space. My daddy always say, baby girl, you stick your finger in the around, you spin it round, round, round. And when I lost sight of that, I had to put my finger back in that ground and I had to keep attempting to spin the world round around. So where now I might just say, whoo, you know, but that's just me now. That's my personality. That's who I develop. That's who I give who I give so much love to me. And people say, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
no, it's all about you now. You also." No, it's not about me. No, it's really about you. And it's more so about you because you haven't reached this space. And all you want to do is criticize my space. People
Mm.
think because you happy,
Mm.
they think because you got things going on, or they think that sometimes you might be even better than them. And you don't even see it. You don't even feel that way about
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You just feel
Right.
good about yourself. But they see it in you. They see it in you. So if they see it in you, guess what? You
Right.
better walk in it. Walk in it.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
okay. Like it is okay. It is okay. Siri be listening. But it's okay. And you see how Siri, is it something else I can help you with? Like, no, because it's okay.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to
Yeah.
help yourself. And you got to be also willing to listen. I speak
Yes.
more with my eyes. I speak more with my face than you hear come out my mouth because I'm always listening. And I'm not listening for myself. I'm listening for what we can both learn from. You saying what you're saying. And sometimes just being that listening ear without providing no type of feedback or comment until they ask you for it, they usually found the answer in it themselves. They just, excuse me, they just needed an ear. And sometimes it's just good. Excuse me. Sometimes it's just good to be that ear and allow them to walk themselves through that situation. But if you always got to talk, if you always got something to say, and if you always got a feedback, then basically you're not taking that person's thoughts or feelings into consideration when all they probably needed you to do was listen. You'd be surprised at the people that don't listen to people who are really venting to you. That's why
Hmm.
you see a lot of
Yep.
divorces. That's why you see like a lot of people being split away from their families. That's why you see
Yeah.
a lot of friendships that fail because one person didn't provide that one tool that could take their friendship to a different level, which is all you have to do is listen.
Yes. Yes.
When I start listening and I stop interjecting and I stopped trying to provide what I thought would be of a better resource, my life became so much more easier.
Yep.
It became so
Yep.
much more freer.
Yep.
And then not only that, by me listening, I helped them set their own boundaries
Yep.
without even telling
Yep.
them how to do it.
Yep. I
Because
totally
now
agree.
it's about it's about the people, man. It's about the people.
Yeah.
It's not about you. It's about the people.
Yeah.
And it's about the people that you choose to have around you. And if you see
Yes.
that you got distractions, get rid of them. But doesn't mean that they're just for a season because seasons come every year. The same seasons over and over again.
That that was something to close us out with, and that was that I need a lot to carry that. Like I learned
Yeah.
that tonight. Like I don't lie about what I learned. Like I learned that like just what you saying that and coming on. It's not just a season. Seasons continue to come back like, oh, whoa. Like just when you thought healing, you had it mastered. Like, okay. So I'm taking that away. I'm taking that away tonight. I'm taking away today is the day. Um I'm taking both of those things away. So thank you. I ain't never did. We ain't never went this long. However, this was a lot of fill up. Like I'm never speechless. Even people will tell you I ain't never speechless. I always got something to say and ready. But having the ability to listen is fed me like tonight and for a lifetime. I'm going to probably adopt today as the day for the rest of the month or maybe 2 or 3, the rest of the year perhaps. Um, and like I said, that seasons they come back. Whew, that is a heavy one. You gonna have to like you had to come back on here when I come on your show. Like let's talk about where we can find you at,
Okay.
because like I'm writing a letter to myself tonight. Tonight. Hold on, so I got 3 takeaways. I'm starting to write a letter to myself,
Okay.
Queen. I'm going to do that. I will adopt today is the day.
Yes.
That is my new one. And seasons do return and they come
Mhm.
back all the time. So those hit deep for me on so many levels. So where can we find you at? Like where I know that they probably don't people probably ain't gonna want you to go, but this is a good one. Um
So basically, I'm actually on this app. I don't utilize my Facebook or my Twitter or my Instagram much. I'm just not starting to interact with social media in this type of fashion. So I have this app by the name of Fanbase, Fanbase. It is actually a black owner by the name of Isaac Hayes III. Okay. So if you currently are not on Fanbase, I highly suggest that you download that app and you will actually find me on Fanbase. And I actually host rooms. It's almost like it kind of reminds people of Clubhouse. I just don't like Clubhouse. I don't like the whole chatter thing. I'm getting used
I've
to the
never
whole
been
chatter
on Clubhouse. I
thing.
heard about it, but I've never been on
Yeah,
there.
and I just can't get it because it's so much on there. And what I like about Fanbase is that it's still a newer app, and it's a
Okay.
small community that has actually been growing tremendously. And so with this app, you actually have different rooms that you're able to learn from. They have campfires, for instance. I have Fan Based Investor Speaks. So I started on my own talk show on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fanbase in a room. And I actually interact other entrepreneurs, other business owners, other authors, people like yourself, people of all kinds from all different types of walks. And I teach people how to actually invest back into themselves. You got to be able to invest into yourself before you start investing into someone else's dreams or visions. And if you're not invested
Hmm.
into yourself, reforming your whole mindset, redeveloping your mindset, then you're doing yourself so much disservice. So on Wednesday nights on Fanbase at 8 Eastern time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I host Fan-Based Investor Speaks. And if you're not part of that community, I do highly suggest you to become a part of the community, especially if you are a small business owner or wanting to start a business or looking to go into real estate, want to know about insurance, want to know about your credit, anything you want to learn. This is a great app that you can utilize with people from all over the United States, even Canada, over in Nigeria, and they all share information that will actually help you grow and develop your business and also help you create content. I don't think that I would have ever been on this podcast had God not already been preparing me for it prior to this engagement. And I
Hmm.
got prepared for it by the use of Fanbase. So if you're not on that app, if you're looking for a black community or of all of races too, but I'm just saying if you're looking for a very strong black community of people who may be just as like-minded as yours, I highly encourage you to join that app so that way you can also learn with other people like yourself. That is
Nice.
super important. A lot of times I heard you say this earlier, Lord, working with my own people, people of other race. That's what we know of, right? Because we're circled around that right now in our present moment within our own circumference. Think outside of the box. There's so many black people. There's so many melanated skinned people who want to see everyone win. And
Hmm.
in this app, you can actually you can actually help yourself find that community of people that really want to help you win. Since I joined the app, I've made money off my content. Like literally, I got money off my content. So I might post something, people send me hearts just to show they love or show that they care about me or whatever. And I've been making money. I don't know, virtual space is kind of taking over what I'm doing, but I make money. Not only that, you guys, I was actually encouraged to go into creating my own rooms and start hosting my own shows, doing my own podcast. And that's how I start creating fan-based investor speaks because of the people who actually poured into me as a community. So to be honest with you guys, I'm still learning. I'm still growing and I'm still developing. And now I have now found the app that allow me to surround myself with like-minded people, like-minded individuals. And everybody may not be for you on that app. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. It can get kind of ratchet sometimes, okay? I'm honest, I'm real. But when you allow yourself to enter spaces that are really for you and what you're wanting to do, I promise you it's going to help you drive your own profession.
Hmm.
So if you're not a member of Fanbase, I do highly suggest you to do Fanbase, even if you come into my rooms for right now. On there, it is AYE.JUH inspires. So it's Asia pronounced out, right? And then inspires because I plan to inspire across the whole globe. I see myself walking on stages. I see myself helping businesses develop their workers or their employees to become a better person. I see myself writing that book or that manual or either that transcript to help people to learn from. I see myself going into businesses, flying in from private jets just to help motivate people, inspire people. I see that. I see the millions and billions of dollars that's going to have easily access to me. I see the investors. I see it all. And guess what? I get to see it with people like myself. That is
Yeah.
huge. That is
Yeah.
huge. That is huge. So don't get caught up on what's going on right now. Think about
Yes.
the bigger picture and the elevation of what's to come from what's coming right
Yes.
now.
Yes. Yes.
And to be honest with y'all, I'm so freaking excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're not excited, and if you have not been excited, listen, live through vicariously through my success. Because I'm telling you right now, this is just the beginning, sister. I'm on the
Yeah.
rise. And guess what, y'all? I have access to people that you normally would not have access to. I just interviewed the first African American female that actually owns a distillery with the still in New York
Wow.
City. And guess who it was? She's actually kin to the Braxtons. Her vodka is called Black Mama Vodka. Literally.
Oh,
Literally.
okay.
Okay? Like you have access and people out here with so much power and they want to see, man, it's a guy right now. He's raising money for his app so people can actually drive around and talk about the food that they eat. It's a woman right now who's currently developing an app where you could basically find somewhere within that area if you just visit an area so you could park your car and charge up your car. And they don't mind, they get paid a fee. It's people right on that app
Mhm.
right now that's talking about real estate and actually doing investments. Listen, since I've been on that app, I joined this room called The Goats. I'm sorry, girl. I'm so excited about this. I got to talk about it. Because you asked them, how can they find me? I want y'all to know exactly how to find me. It's a GOAT room. G period O period A period T period X. Goats. They talk about financial investments. They want you to invest into a black bank, which is Broadway Financial. All you got to do is invest in that bank up to 100 shares. And the shares is only like $1 and some odd change, if that. Sometimes you can get it at
Wow.
98 cents a share. But just by investing in that one bank, they give you access to a Discord that's going to help you financially become successful at the end. I go into classes on this app and learn about options, trading, puts. I'm learning about NFTs, cryptos, couponing. Like I'm learning about real estate. Since I've been on this app, you guys, I've only been on the app since August. I've already paid my car off
Wow.
because I put myself into those rooms. I
Mhm.
owed $11,000, but because I told myself I was not going to hold myself back no more, I got that money. You hear me? And I saved aggressively. I told myself no to a lot of things that I thought I would love to enjoy just so I could pay my car off. So that way
Mhm.
I can put my money into other investments that's going to help me out
Right.
financially in the future. And it
Right.
was because of the rooms that I enter in the app. So I feel like this. If you feel like you don't have the type of people that you need to surround you right now, currently, you could find it on the app. I can guarantee you that.
Right.
So if you're currently not on Fanbase, I do highly suggest that you do join Fanbase and you would see me on that app because, honey, I am loved in that community. I drop so much jewels. I drop so much information. People drop so many jewels, so many information. Like right now, I have a guy right now preparing questions that people actually collectively send to me so he could create a Zoom meeting to help people get investors into their own companies. And that's for tomorrow.
Nice.
So
Nice.
you want to change your life? Come find me. And I promise you, your life will never be the same again. We're on the rise. I could guarantee you that.
Yes, thank you so much, Queen. This has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm actually gonna probably tag your name or something on social media and figure out how to put your link in there so they can click and find you on there. But I am this, like I said, this show has been great. It's been great. It's been a wealth of information. I'm definitely coming over to Fanbase, so I'm gonna see you over there on that side. And for now, just thank you for being a unique blessing and blessing us tonight. with this podcast, and giving us so much inspiration and information on forgiveness and self love. And today is the day.
Today's the day. See,
Today
you
is the
thought I was
day.
going to actually use it, right? See, you end up using it more than I did.
Hey, I look. I
I
told you.
love
I'll give
it.
you a little T-shirt and all that. I'm using that. So your spirit is infectious. So it's always good to have somebody to fill you up. And like you said, it is not all people that look like us. That is, that's on this movement and this mission that we all on as far as unity and bringing back community. Into all these spaces and places. So again, thank you for coming on, and we're gonna be wrapping this up for the night. It is 9:36. We
Okay.
then went
I
in.
know.
Even without technical difficulties, she is an overcomer, y'all. She didn't give up. She didn't say, "Well, this ain't gonna work." She kept going and persevered, and took us exactly where we needed to be. So I appreciate you, and you have a good night. Thank you for coming
Thank
on
you.
a
I
UB
was going to ask
podcast
you, did
with
the
us.
audience say anything else before we close out? Because, I can't read
Um,
anything. I don't know if they did, if they didn't.
I don't know why you can't, but no, I don't know why you can't see the comments. You should be able.
I see it now, but okay, I think she's gone. Oh, let's see here.
Okay, Aisha, are you still there?
I am.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I made a mistake and clicked us out. But no, we don't have any comments. That I. Oh well, Angel is saying thanks, Queen. You're welcome, Angel.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for sticking around with us. I'm sure Angel probably will be coming on over to fan base. She is a new startup entrepreneurial. Um, she do herbs and healing and a whole bunch of things.
That's
So
good.
I'm sure she'll be over there on the other side. But thank you so much.
Thank y'all for having
Um,
me.
and yes, and I look forward to talking to you soon again. You have a good
All
night.
right. Thank you. You too.
You're
Good
welcome.
night,
Thanks.
everybody.